Hi friends, Kathy Lanzalaco here to talk to you a little bit more about International Update Your Resume Month. And this is the third in my video series about updating your resume to make sure that you take advantage of this month as an opportunity to get that resume where it needs to be. And in the past 2 weeks, we've talked about formats, the reverse chronological versus the functional versus the hybrid approach. We've talked about replacing the objective statement with a branded summary statement. We've talked about putting in keywords to help match the job description. We've talked about making it easily scannable for the human eye, including those keywords as well, and including results. We've talked about that, and certainly the relevancy piece. You don't have to put every job you've ever had in your whole life on the resume. So we've talked about that. But today I wanted to hone in on a very particular topic that is unfortunately live and well, and that is about age discrimination. And many times we talk about age discrimination in terms of older people, and while it impacts younger people as well, it absolutely does. Today I want to focus on the more mature crowd. And I am 58 years old. I share that very openly. So when I tell you that I understand not only the market in terms of what recruiters are sharing with me, what's happening out there, I experience some of this myself from time to time. I know it's out there, but it's not going to kill your job search. It's just important to understand what you can do on your resume to help decrease the focus on your age and increase the focus on your value. So first of all, make sure that your resume does look dynamic. Make sure that you are not using a tired old format and that it's, whether it's that old career center, 2-column approach, or it is a copy and paste of every job you've ever had, every job description. Those things, they just feel old. And whether you're 48, 58, or 68, people are working all kinds of ages now, it'll just get that feeling of tiredness. So that's the first thing. It should look fabulous and portray an energy. People should look at it and be drawn into it. That's the first thing. The next thing is, if you have an email account that is not Gmail, I'm going to encourage you to change that immediately. Yahoo, Hotmail, I see AOL come across my desk weekly. Get rid of those. Those add 5 years to your age. I always, or maybe more, AOL. And I always tell my clients, Gmail will take 5 years off your age and 10 pounds off your hips. So get to that Gmail address. That is current. That's what people expect to have. Do not include your birth date in the new Gmail account as well. That also is an old practice. And really, you don't need to be telling anybody what your birth date is, whether it's month and date, whether it's the year. Google will assign you numbers if your name is already taken. So just let Google do it, and don't you be putting in anything that's going to indicate how old you are. The other thing is, you do not have to go back again, 20 years more. No. You do not have to do that on your resume. Relevancy, as we talked about in the past week, relevancy. So what have you done recently? So when I say recently, I mean 10 to 12 years, 15 maybe, it depending on what the information is. And there's ways to format information if you really need to bring something from your past because it's relative to a very particular job target you have. You can do that without doing it reverse chronologically. It can be framed in a different manner to be able to still capture that information. The other thing that ages your resume is to just put the copy and pasting in and not including results. So what we're trying to demonstrate as a more mature job seeker is that we have the experience that employers need. And so that means really focus on the action, really focus on the results. What difference have you made that other people cannot? That's what they're paying you for. That's why they're going to pay you more money. Right? So we need to be able to break down those barriers of age discrimination. The other thing is your LinkedIn URL. If you're copying and pasting the algorithm generated one that has all those numbers at the end of it, and you think, oh, I'm doing a good thing by putting my LinkedIn URL on, it is, but that will trigger subconsciously even to a recruiter that you don't know technology well enough, that you don't know that you can absolutely customize that and you can change that to get those numbers off of there. So, the big things with age discrimination is that employers may be afraid that your technology skills are not up to date, that your experience is outdated, that you are unable to work with millennials and Gen Zs. So how can you integrate your ability to work cross-functionally with people of all ages within your resume as well? That's really important. And certainly we know age discrimination many times is driven by the fact that they think people in our age group want more money. And while many of us do, you should be able to demonstrate why you deserve it so that the company believes it's a great investment in their company, as opposed to the thought that, I can get somebody to do that cheaper for me. That's absolutely not the thought process we want to trigger in somebody else either. So the other thing I wanted to share is take your home address off of there too. That is an old practice. Nobody needs to know where you live until you actually fill out an application, and they're going to be doing a search on you, a background check. So don't bother doing that either. Get that off of there so that you're creating a new, fresh, updated resume that's high energy, that's going to get the reader involved and excited about the materials that you're sharing. Make sure, again, that as in all good resume practices, that all of the words are spelled correctly. If you're not sure, have somebody else look at it for you. Sometimes we get too close to it and can't see it. So you want to make sure that someone else has looked at it. And then finally, I'm going to tell you, just go through it too and look at words that may represent a little bit of an old thought. So, the words today, like collaborative, teamwork, is much better than I'm a team player, right? Think about the words that we used back in the 90s and the early 2000s and say, well, really, what are employers looking for? How have I moved the dial on those things for myself? Try to replace it with those type of words that people are looking to see. And it's not about word switching out and playing word games. It's really about being able to represent accurately how these skills and competencies are viewed. So if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comment section. I will answer them, and we'll have another week of updating your resume for International Resume Month next week as well. But in the meantime, go ahead and take a look at the past videos that I've shared. They're on the Inspire Careers YouTube channel, and you can subscribe to that so that you can go back and read anytime you want or view the other videos that I have, as well as see the new content. But reach out if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them. All right. In the meantime, live inspired.